The serene blue hue of Earth was marred by the ominous shadow of alien dreadnoughts, casting long, dark silhouettes against the daylight sky. It was a sight humanity had only seen in their most paranoid nightmares, but now it was all too real. The year was 2147, and humanity's leap into the stars had not gone unnoticed by the cosmos. Commander Alex Voss stood on the deck of the Titan, the most advanced ship in Earth's nascent space fleet, watching as the alien fleet positioned itself around the moon. The tension in the command center was palpable, every officer's gaze fixed on the tactical displays, waiting for the inevitable. The Interstellar Council, a coalition of species who viewed humanity as a burgeoning threat, had issued their ultimatum. Their message was clear, broadcast across all frequencies: surrender your sovereignty or face obliteration. The demand was not just for capitulation, but for humanity to cease all space exploration and dismantle its military. Back on Earth, the United Nations convened in emergency session. The atmosphere was thick with fear and defiance. Representatives from around the globe debated the fate of their species. There was no shortage of opinions, from those advocating for peace at any cost to those who urged a fight to the last breath. Alex watched the proceedings on a screen, his face set in a grim line. He knew the technical capabilities of the alien forces far outstripped humanity's fledgling defenses. Yet, he also knew something the aliens might not have fully grasped: the indomitable will of humans when pushed to the edge. The decision came down to a vote. The room quieted as the results were tallied. Alex clenched his fists, feeling the weight of history in that moment. Humanity would not bow. They would fight. The declaration of war was not just against an external enemy, but a testament to human spirit, resilience, and the refusal to accept subjugation. As the news spread, Alex ordered the Titan back to Earth, where he would coordinate the defense. His mind raced through strategies, knowing the first strike would likely come from the moon. Humanity's lunar bases were both a pride and a vulnerability. The Council's ships began their assault, targeting the moon's largest human settlement. Explosions lit up the lunar sky, visible from Earth as a stark reminder of the stakes. But from this act of aggression, something profound ignited in the human psyche. People from all walks of life, from scientists to soldiers, united under a single banner: survival. Alex navigated the Titan through Earth's atmosphere, the ship shaking under the strain. He made his way to the command center at the heart of the UN's emergency headquarters, where he would lead the counterstrike. Here, he would make the hard choices: which settlements to abandon, which to defend at all costs, how to allocate resources stretched thin by a war that had just begun. As the first wave of alien fighters descended upon Earth, Alex looked out over the city below, its lights twinkling in defiance. He knew many would not survive the night, but those who did would tell of this moment when humanity chose to unleash hell, not out of malice, but out of love for their freedom, their planet, and each other. The story had just begun, with Alex at its heart, a commander not just of ships and weapons, but of hope. The galaxy had declared war on humanity, but they would soon learn what it means to face a species that would rather die free than live in chains. The moonlit silence of Earth's lunar base was shattered by the roar of alien artillery. Commander Alex Voss, now on the ground at the UN's war room, watched the live feeds with a heart heavy with the weight of command. The screens showed chaos. The moon's horizon was ablaze with the fires of war. "Status on the lunar defenses?" Voss barked, his voice cutting through the tension. "Compromised, sir," replied Lieutenant Mira Chen, her fingers flying over her console. They've taken out our main power relay. We're on emergency systems. The room was a hive of activity, with officers relaying orders, data streaming in from every corner of the defense network. Voss knew this was just the beginning. His eyes met those of General Thomas Tom O'Leary, the grizzled veteran who had been advocating for a stronger space defense program. We need to counterattack now, while they think they've crippled us, O'Leary insisted, his jaw set. Agreed, Voss responded, his mind racing through potential strategies. We'll use the Titan, launch a surprise assault from Earth's shadow. They won't expect it. The plan was risky but feasible. The Titan would skirt the edge of Earth's shadow, using the planet as a shield to approach the alien fleet undetected. They would aim for the command ships, hoping to disrupt the enemy's coordination. As Voss relayed the plan, the air was thick with unspoken doubts. Would it be enough? Was this the best chance they had? Prepare the Titan for immediate launch. I want every weapon system online. This is for our home, Voss ordered, his voice ringing with resolve. The Titan, under the command of Captain Elena Martinez, a sharp mind with an even sharper tongue, was prepped in record time. Martinez, who had once been skeptical of Voss's aggressive tactics, now saw the necessity. Make it count, Voss. We're betting everything on this, Martinez said over the comms, her voice steady despite the stakes. As the Titan ascended, cloaked in darkness, the moon's battle raged on. The human defenders, led by Colonel Jada al-Hassan, fought with a ferocity born of desperation. Al-Hassan, known for her strategic mind and cool head under fire, had turned the lunar base into a death trap for the invaders, utilizing every piece of the terrain. On the Titan, the crew watched as the alien ships loomed larger, their silhouettes stark against the stars. Voss gave the order to attack, and the ship burst from the shadow, its weapons unleashing a barrage that caught the enemy off guard. The battle was brutal, ships from both sides exploding into brilliant flares of light. Voss watched as one of the alien command ships went down, a victory amidst the carnage. But then, a counterstrike hit the Titan, shaking it to its core. We've lost shields on the port side, Martinez shouted over the chaos. Voss knew this was the moment of truth. Focus all remaining power to the engines. We need to retreat before they finish us off. The Titan limped away, the battle turning into a strategic withdrawal. They had inflicted damage, but at a cost. Back on Earth, the realization settled in. This was not just a war of ships, but of survival. The room fell silent as the last of the Titan's status reports came in. O'Leary looked at Voss, a mix of pride and concern in his eyes. You've bought us time, Commander. But at what price? Voss didn't answer immediately, his gaze fixed on the lunar base, now a smoldering ruin. He knew this was just the first chapter of a much longer story, one where humanity would have to prove its mettle or face extinction. The intrigue of who among the alien coalition might be swayed or betrayed was yet to unfold, but for now, they had made their stand, and the galaxy was watching. The aftermath of the lunar battle left Earth in mourning, but also awake to the reality of their new existence. Commander Alex Voss, nursing a bruised ego and a damaged Titan, convened with the leaders of the United Nations and their military council. The room was a mosaic of grim faces, each bearing the weight of countless lives lost. We can't fight this alone, Voss stated, his voice hoarse from the strain of the last days. We need allies. General O'Leary, his skepticism ever present, countered. And who among the stars would ally with us, the pariahs of the cosmos? There's the Zolorians, interjected Dr. Nia Patel, an expert in xenobiology. They've been vocal against the Council's aggressive policies. They might see an alliance with us as a chance to shift power. The decision was made to send an envoy to Zalor, a planet known for its dense jungles and advanced biotechnology. Voss chose Captain Martinez to lead the mission, her diplomatic skills as sharp as her command of the Titan. As Martinez's shuttle left Earth's atmosphere, back in the command center, Voss received a coded message from an unexpected source, a faction within the alien council, the Varans, known for their secretive nature and advanced cloaking technology. They claimed to oppose the war against humanity, but needed proof of human resolve. Meanwhile, Martinez arrived on Zalor, welcomed into a world that seemed both alien and familiar. The Zalorian leader, Ambassador Zakara, listened intently as Martinez outlined humanity's plight and their plea for alliance.
"We share your disdain for the Council's tyranny," Zakara said, her voice resonating with sincerity. "But trust is not given lightly in these times." Martinez knew this was a dance of politics, but also saw an opening. "We offer you technology, our latest advancements in quantum computing. In return, we ask for your ships, your warriors, and your wisdom." The negotiations were tense, with Martinez sensing an undercurrent of something unspoken. As they reached an agreement, a shadow moved in the room. A Zalorian, previously unnoticed, whispered to Zakara. Martinez caught the word Varans just before the meeting concluded. Back on Earth, Voss was preparing for another strike when news from Martinez came through. "We have an alliance, but something feels off. I heard whispers of the Varans." Voss's mind raced. Could the Varans be playing both sides? He decided to send a small, covert team to Varan space to gather intelligence, led by Colonel Jada al-Hassan, whose guile would be crucial in this espionage mission. Jada infiltrated Varan space under the guise of a diplomatic envoy, but her true mission was to uncover any signs of betrayal. She found more than she bargained for. The Varans were indeed communicating with both Earth and Zalor, but their intentions were murky. She discovered plans for a double cross, a staged attack on Zalor to weaken both new allies. With this information, Voss faced a hard choice: expose the Varans and risk losing both potential allies, or use this knowledge to turn the tables. He opted for the latter, setting a trap. As the Varans moved to execute their plan, Voss and Al-Hassan coordinated a counter-ambush. The Varans, believing themselves in control, were met with a combined force of human and Zalorian ships. Their surprise attack turned against them. In the heat of the battle, Martinez, now aboard a Zalorian ship, saved Zakara from a Varan assassin, solidifying the alliance through action. Voss watched from Earth as the Varans retreated, their plans thwarted, but the seeds of doubt and intrigue had been planted. The twist of the Varans' betrayal had not only tested humanity's new allies, but also shown the galaxy that Earth was not merely a victim, but a player in this cosmic game of power. As the dust settled, Voss knew this was but a small victory in a war that would define the future of humanity among the stars. The news of the Varan betrayal had rippled through the ranks, but it also solidified the bond between Earth and Zalor. Now, as the alien council regrouped, their next move was swift and decisive. Siege Mars, humanity's burgeoning frontier and a symbol of their spacefaring ambition. Commander Alex Voss stood in the Martian command center, the red dust of the planet swirling outside the reinforced windows. "They think by cutting us off from Mars, they'll break our spirit," he murmured to General O'Leary, who stood beside him, monitoring the incoming fleet. "Or they'll force us to stretch our defenses too thin," O'Leary replied, his gaze fixed on the tactical display.
The alien fleet, a mix of warships from various species under the Council's banner, began their blockade. Mars, with its scattered human outposts and mining operations, was now a battleground. Captain Elena Martinez, fresh from her diplomatic victory, had been reassigned to lead Mars's defense. She was in the midst of briefing her team when a comms officer interrupted. "Captain, we've got incoming. Multiple signatures, preparing to bombard our surface positions." Martinez didn't hesitate. "Evacuate non-combatants to the underground shelters. We'll use the terrain, hit them where they least expect it." Her plan was to turn Mars's rugged landscape into a trap. Small, agile human craft would use canyons and craters for cover, launching guerrilla attacks against the much larger, less maneuverable alien ships. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Voss was coordinating with Ambassador Zakara via secure channels. "We need your ships here, Zakara. Mars is the key to our survival." "Help is en route, Commander Voss. But remember, this alliance was born from necessity. We expect to share in victory as much as in the struggle," Zakara responded, her voice carrying the weight of her people's commitment. As the battle for Mars unfolded, Martinez led from the front, her ship weaving through Martian valleys, striking at the alien ship's vulnerable underbellies. Each hit was a small victory, but the enemy's numbers were overwhelming. In a daring move, Martinez decided to capture an enemy cruiser, hoping to use its technology against them. "We need that ship's command codes. Now!" she ordered her tech team, leading a boarding action herself. The fight for the cruiser was fierce, with Martinez and her team facing off against alien warriors in close quarters. Amidst the chaos, she encountered a council officer who, in his last moments, whispered, "The Council fears your adaptability, not your weapons." This piece of intelligence was intriguing. It suggested that the Council's strategy might be more about containment than obliteration. Martinez secured the codes and, with them, turned the captured cruiser against its former allies. On Earth, Voss received the updates with a mix of relief and concern. The Zalorian ships arrived, turning the tide but also bringing the reality of their alliance into sharper focus. As the Martian sky cleared of enemy ships, the cost was evident. Losses were heavy on both sides, but Mars remained free. Voss, Martinez, and Zakara met virtually, discussing the next steps.
"We've won this battle, but the war is far from over," Martinez said, her face showing the strain of command. "Indeed," Zakara agreed. "But we've shown them that together we are formidable. Now, we must prepare for their next move." The intrigue deepened as Voss pondered the Council officer's dying words. If the Council feared humanity's adaptability, then perhaps their strategy should be to keep evolving, to keep the enemy guessing. As they planned, the seeds of future betrayals and alliances were being sown, with Mars standing as a testament to human resilience and cunning. The victory on Mars had bolstered human morale, but the cost had been steep. Commander Alex Voss, now back on Earth, stared at the galaxy map in the war room, plotting humanity's next move. The alien council, licking their wounds, would surely retaliate with more ferocity. "We need to strike back," Voss said, his voice echoing in the quiet room. "But we can't just defend. We must take the fight to them." General O'Leary, ever the skeptic, countered. "And where do we hit? Their forces are spread across a dozen systems." Captain Elena Martinez, her experience on Mars fresh in her mind, suggested, "The shipyards at Krelax 9. They're the backbone of their fleet. If we destroy those, we cripple their ability to wage war." The audacity of the plan was clear. Krelax 9 was deep in enemy territory, heavily defended. But the potential rewards were immense.
Voss knew this could be the turning point, or their downfall. He turned to Ambassador Zakara, who had joined the meeting via hologram. "Can your cloaking technology get us close enough?" Zakara nodded, her image flickering slightly. "Our stealth tech can hide a small fleet, but once you're in, you'll be on your own. This will require precision and sacrifice." Voss felt the weight of command pressing down. He called in Colonel Jada Al-Hassan, now back from her covert operations, her insights invaluable.
"Jada, I need you to lead the infiltration team. We'll need to sabotage from within while we draw their defenses away."
Jada's eyes gleamed with the challenge. "I'll make sure their shipyards burn, Commander." The plan was set in motion. A small, elite force was assembled, with human ships cloaked by Zalorian technology, moving silently through space. As they approached Krelax 9, the tension was palpable.
"We're in their shadow now,"
Martinez reported from the Titan, now the spearhead of the operation.
"Silent running."
From their hidden vantage, they watched the Krelax shipyards, a sprawling network of construction and repair docks. Voss gave the order.
"Jada, you're up. Make it count."
Jada and her team disembarked in stealth shuttles, infiltrating the yards under the guise of routine maintenance. Inside, they planted explosives and hacked into the system to cause chaos. Meanwhile, Martinez led the main force in a feint attack on the opposite side of the system, drawing out the defenders. The space around Krelax 9 erupted into a battlefield, with ships clashing in a fiery dance of destruction. Back on Earth, Voss watched the feeds, his heart racing. He knew every second counted for Jada's team. Then, the explosions began. The shipyards lit up like a star going supernova, with ships half-built tumbling into the void. But the victory was Pyrrhic. As the human and Zalorian ships withdrew, enemy reinforcements arrived. Too late to save their shipyards, but in time to engage the retreating forces. The Titan took heavy hits, and Martinez's voice came through, strained. "We're losing power, Commander. We need to jump out now." Voss made the hard call. "Jump, Elena! That's an order. We'll meet you back at the rendezvous." The Titan vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind the chaos of Krelax 9. The mission was a success, but at a terrible cost. Jada's team was unaccounted for, presumed lost in the explosion, or captured. As the news of the mission spread, Earth celebrated the blow to the Alien Council's war machine, but the celebration was muted. Voss knew this victory had come with a price, and the intrigue of what might have happened to Jada and her team added a shadow over the triumph. In the aftermath, intelligence suggested that there might be dissent within the Council, possibly cracks forming that could be exploited. But first, they needed to regroup, mourn their losses, and prepare for what was surely to come, a counterattack from a wounded but still dangerous enemy. The war was far from over, and humanity's place in the stars was still to be fought for, one battle at a time. The loss of Colonel Jada Al-Hassan and her team had cast a somber mood over Earth, but the destruction of Krelax 9's shipyards had given humanity a strategic advantage. Commander Alex Voss, now in the thick of planning the next phase, knew they needed to capitalize on this momentum. "We must strike at their heart," Voss declared to his war council. "The Nexus station, where the council meets. It's our chance to end this war, or at least force a negotiation." General O'Leary was skeptical. "The Nexus is a fortress. Even with Krelax out of the picture, they'll have doubled down on defenses. But if we can get in, we can sow chaos, disrupt their command structure," Martinez interjected, her faith in Voss's strategy unshaken after the Krelax mission. The plan was audacious. infiltrate the Nexus with a small team, while a larger force engaged the station's defenses. The key was to capture or eliminate key council members, forcing the rest to the negotiation table or into disarray. Ambassador Zakara, always a step ahead, proposed, "We have a contact at the Nexus, a dissenter from the Council. We could use him to get your team inside." The operation was set. A covert team, led by Voss himself, would use this contact to enter the station. Meanwhile, Martinez would command the space assault, a distraction meant to draw the bulk of the Nexus's firepower away from the infiltrators. As they approached the Nexus, a vast, gleaming structure in the void, the reality of their mission hit. "Remember, we're not here for a fight. We're here to end one," Voss reminded his team. Inside the Nexus, the infiltrators, including Voss, donned disguises provided by their contact, a high-ranking Varan named Talorn. "The Council is in session now. They believe they're untouchable here," Talorn whispered, leading them through corridors filled with alien species of all kinds. But just as they neared the council chamber, alarms blared. Betrayal or coincidence, they were now in a race against time. Voss knew they had to act fast or risk capture. "Go for the council leaders. Disrupt, don't destroy," Voss ordered, drawing his weapon. What followed was a blend of diplomacy and combat, with Voss and his team disarming guards, securing key council members, and sending a clear message. Humanity was not to be underestimated. Outside, Martinez's fleet engaged in a fierce battle, buying time for the infiltrators. The Nexus's defenses were formidable, but the human ships, bolstered by Zalorian technology, held their own. "Commander, we're losing ships fast," Martinez reported over comms, the strain of command evident in her voice. "How much longer?" "Almost there," Voss replied, as they forced the Council into a makeshift surrender. But the victory was short-lived. An explosion rocked the station, a last-ditch effort by Loyalist forces. In the chaos, Voss made the call. "Martinez, get your ships out of here. We've done what we came for." Martinez, understanding the sacrifice, initiated the retreat as Voss and his team fought their way back to their escape shuttle, now under heavy fire. As they made their escape, the Nexus began to crumble, a symbol of the Council's fallibility. Voss looked back at the station, knowing they'd struck a blow that could end the war or merely change its nature. Back on Earth, the news was mixed. The Council was in disarray, but at what cost? Voss, nursing injuries from the escape, pondered the next steps. The Nexus operation had revealed allies and enemies within the Council, opening up possibilities for peace, but also for further conflict. The intrigue deepened as whispers of a new alliance among the Council's fractured members reached Earth. Would this be the beginning of the end, or just another chapter in an ongoing saga? The war was far from over, but humanity had shown it could strike at the heart of the enemy, setting the stage for a decisive confrontation. The aftermath of the Nexus assault left the Alien Council in turmoil, with factions splintering and the balance of power shifting. Commander Alex Voss, his body still healing from injuries, knew this was humanity's moment to leverage chaos into peace or face annihilation. The war had evolved into a chess game of alliances and betrayals. Among the Council, a faction led by the once loyal Varan, Talorn, now sought to end the hostilities, viewing the Nexus attack as a sign of humanity's resolve. However, this was not without its cost. Voss, studying the latest intelligence, realized that the Council's homeworld, Zarnax, was the next logical battleground. It was where the true leaders, those still bent on humanity's destruction, had retreated to regroup. The plan was simple, but deadly. A direct assault on Zarnax to force a capitulation, or at least a ceasefire. Yet, Voss knew this mission would be the most perilous yet, with the potential for betrayal at every turn. As the human and allied fleet approached Zarnax, the sky was ablaze with defensive arrays, the planet itself a fortress. The silence in the command center was palpable, every officer aware that this could be their last stand. The battle commenced with a ferocity unseen before. Human ships, alongside their Zalorian allies, engaged in a dance of death with the Zarnaxian defenders. The sky lit up with explosions, each ship's destruction a testament to the stakes involved. Mid-battle, a signal from Talorn reached Voss. "I have secured a path through their defenses. Follow my beacon." Voss, trusting but cautious, directed the fleet towards the beacon, hoping it wasn't a trap. The path Talorn provided led straight to the heart of Zarnax's command center, an area heavily fortified, but now oddly exposed. As they neared, betrayal struck. A segment of the Allied fleet, led by a previously loyal Zalorian captain, turned against them, firing upon the human ships. Voss watched in horror as allies became enemies, understanding that this was an attempt to eliminate Earth's leadership in one fell swoop. With quick thinking, Martinez maneuvered the Titan to shield Voss's command ship, taking heavy damage. "We're hit, Commander!" was all she could shout before communications went silent. Voss, now in the thick of battle, ordered a counterattack on the traitorous ships while pushing forward. The betrayal had cost them dearly, but it also revealed the true enemies within their ranks. On Zarnax, the ground assault, led by remnants of Jada al-Hassan's team, who had miraculously survived and made their way back, fought their way through to the command center. Here, they discovered Talorn, not as a betrayer, but as a double agent, who had sacrificed much to give humanity this chance. The battle raged, with Voss leading from the front, his ship now a beacon of human defiance. The command center was secured after fierce hand-to-hand combat, with Voss facing off against the Council's military leader, ending the confrontation with a fatal shot. But victory was fleeting. The cost was immense. Martinez's ship was crippled, and many good soldiers, including some of Voss's closest allies, lay dead or dying. Voss, wounded, looked over the battlefield, a mix of satisfaction and sorrow in his eyes. The Council's forces, now leaderless and in disarray, signaled their surrender. Peace was within grasp, but Voss knew this was not the end. The war might be over, but the scars would remain, and the galaxy's politics would never be the same. As the sun set over Zarnax, marking the end of the battle, Voss understood that the true challenge would be in the peace that followed, in healing wounds and rebuilding trust. The galaxy had declared war on humanity, but in unleashing hell, they had also paved the way for a new era, one where humanity would have to prove its worth in peace as fiercely as it did in war. The dust of Zarnax had barely settled when the reality of peace negotiations began to dawn on Commander Alex Voss. The battlefield, once a scene of chaos and death, was now a ground for diplomacy, with the remnants of the alien council's forces surrendering. Voss, his uniform stained with the blood of both friends and foes, stood in the ruins of what was once the council's command center. General O'Leary joined him, his face etched with the lines of war. "We've won, Alex, but at what cost?" he murmured, looking over the devastation.
"Every cost was necessary,"
Voss replied, his voice heavy with the weight of leadership.
"But now, we must ensure it wasn't in vain."
The peace talks were held in a makeshift tent erected amidst the ruins. Representatives from Earth, Zalor, and the now fractured alien council gathered. Talorn, the Varan double agent, was there, his role now public and pivotal in bringing this moment to fruition. "We propose a new council," Voss began, addressing the assembly. "One where every species has a voice, where aggression is not the first resort." Ambassador Zakara, her presence a testament to the alliance's strength, added, "This war has shown the folly of domination. It's time for cooperation." But not all were convinced. A hardliner from the remnants of the old council, a Threnian named Vok, sneered, "You think we'll bow to human terms after you've ravaged our worlds?" "No bowing, Vok," Voss countered. "Just understanding that peace is the only path forward. Or do you wish to continue this cycle of destruction?" The negotiations were tense, with betrayals still fresh in everyone's mind. Yet, the desire for peace, or at least exhaustion from war, prevailed. A tentative agreement was reached. A new intergalactic council would be formed, with humans, Zalorians, and representatives from all major species, including the Varans and Threnians. As the documents were being drafted, Voss excused himself, the weight of command giving way to the wounds of battle. He found Martinez, her recovery uncertain, in the medical bay of the Titan. Her ship had been all but destroyed, but she had survived. "You did it, Alex," she whispered, a weak smile crossing her face. "You brought us to peace." "We did it," he corrected, holding her hand. "All of us." But peace brought its own challenges. As Voss returned to the negotiations, he learned of a plot by extremist factions from both sides to sabotage the treaty. They believed peace was merely a pause before the next war. Voss, with his team, including the returned Jada al-Hassan, now a hero in her own right, acted swiftly. They intercepted the saboteurs before they could strike, capturing them in a covert operation that would never be officially acknowledged, but would secure the peace. With the threat neutralized, the treaty was signed, but not before one final act of intrigue. Vok, driven by vengeance, attempted to assassinate Voss during the signing ceremony. In a moment of chaos, Voss, protecting the peace he had fought for, took the fatal shot meant for the new council's leadership. As he lay dying, Voss watched as the treaty was signed over him. His last sight, the faces of those he had fought alongside, Martinez, O'Leary, Jada, and even Talorn. "You've ensured our future," Martinez said, tears mingling with the blood on Voss's uniform. "Make sure. It's a good one," Voss managed, his voice fading as the life left him. The galaxy paused, mourning a hero who had unified species through war and peace. The new council was established with humans at the heart of it, not as conquerors, but as equals, proving their worth beyond battle. In the aftermath, Earth and its allies began the process of rebuilding, not just their worlds, but the trust between species. The war was over, won not just with strength, but with the promise of a better galaxy. Voss's sacrifice became the cornerstone of this new era, his name echoing as a symbol of hope, unity, and the indomitable human spirit. Thus, humanity, having unleashed hell in defense of its existence, now turned that same energy towards forging a lasting peace among the stars.